full swing, crystal glasses clinking as my brother Nathan boasted about his latest hedge fund success. I sat quietly at the far end of the table, my tablet discreetly hidden in my lap as I added final touches to my latest digital piece. And just like that, boom. 20 million in profits, Nathan concluded, adjusting his Hermes tie. That's real success right there. Mom beamed at him before turning her carefully curated disappointment toward me. Speaking of success, Olivia darling, are you still doing those, what do you call them? Digital doodles. I continued working on my tablet, adding layers to what would soon be my most valuable piece yet. They're called digital art installations, Mom. Drawing cartoons won't pay bills, Nathan sneered, cutting into his Wagyu steak. How much have you made this year? $5 selling prints online. Dad cleared his throat, swirling his aged bourbon. Olivia, we've discussed this. The art gallery position at your uncle's firm is still open. Real art, proper paintings. Something respectable. I glanced at my phone as another notification came through. My latest NFT collection was ready for the midnight launch. The digital gallery was set, the smart contracts in place, and my true identity still carefully hidden from the art world. I'm quite comfortable with my career choice, I replied calmly. Career? My sister Victoria laughed, her investment banking badge gleaming. Living in that tiny studio drawing on a computer all day? That's not a career, that's arrested development. I checked my watch, 10 minutes until the Christie's announcement. Remember when you actually painted? Mom sighed. Such lovely watercolors. But this digital nonsense, it's not real art. My phone buzzed again. The private collector's offer had increased to $90 million for exclusive rights. I declined with a quick tap. The public auction would bring more. At least take some business classes, Nathan pushed. Learn something practical. These NFTs and crypto art things you keep talking about, it's all a bubble. I smiled slightly, thinking of the cryptocurrency wallet they knew nothing about. The digital art market is quite robust, actually. Digital art market? Victoria scoffed. Please. I work with real money, Olivia. No one's getting rich drawing cartoons on an iPad. The restaurant speakerphone suddenly crackled to life. A call I'd been expecting. Ms. Crawford. A crisp British accent filled the private dining room. This is Alexandra Montgomery from Christie's Contemporary Art Division. Your digital collection Quantum Dreams has just closed at auction for $80 million. Congratulations on breaking the record for digital art sales. The silence that followed was deafening. Nathan's fork clattered against fine china. Mom's carefully maintained composure cracked. I believe there must be some mistake, Dad stammered. My daughter Olivia. Oh no, I interrupted, standing smoothly. No mistake. Though the number's a bit low. I checked my phone one last time. The complete collection just passed 100 million with the Tokyo bids. The digital art world was about to learn my name, and my family was about to learn just how wrong they'd been about drawing cartoons. The next morning, every major art publication and financial news outlet carried the story. My face, not the anonymous digital avatar I'd used for years, graced the cover of Forbes. The Digital Da Vinci, How Olivia Crawford Revolutionized Modern Art. I sat in my real studio. Not the tiny apartment my family knew about, but the entire top floor of a converted Soho warehouse. Holographic displays showed my latest works floating in the air, while screens tracked global auction prices for my collections. Your family is here, my assistant announced through the intercom. All of them. How long have they been waiting? An hour. Your brother tried to get in by claiming he's your investment advisor. I smiled, watching them on the security feed. Gone was Nathan's smug confidence, replaced by nervous pacing. Mom's perfectly curated outfit seemed wilted, and Dad's commanding presence had diminished considerably. Send them up, I said, activating the studio's full display mode. Every screen, every hologram, every digital canvas sprang to life, filling the 10,000 square foot space with living art. They entered like tourists in a foreign land, gaping at installations worth millions floating around them. This is yours. Mom whispered, watching a cascade of digital butterflies dance across the walls. All of it, I confirmed, standing before my latest piece, a quantum-inspired artwork that had sparked a bidding war between tech billionaires. Welcome to my cartoon studio. But, the tiny apartment. Victoria stammered. A meeting space for small collectors, I explained. This is where the real work happens. My phone buzzed continuously with notifications. Asterisk, MoMA requests permanent installation, $30 million offered. Asterisk, Louvre Digital Wing naming rights, meeting requested. Asterisk, Silicon Valley collectors auction reaching $150 million. Those NFTs you mocked, Nathan? I pulled up my portfolio. They're worth more than your hedge fund's annual returns. The crypto art bubble just made me a billionaire. Dad stepped forward, his voice uncertain. Why didn't you tell us? Would you have understood? I asked, projecting my sales figures onto the main wall. Would you have seen the future of art or just dismissed it as digital nonsense again? The numbers were staggering. Asterisk total collection value, $1.2 billion. Asterisk monthly digital sales, $140 million. Asterisk museum installations, 47 globally. Asterisk private collector waitlist, 300 plus. All those dinners, I continued, all those lectures about real art and proper careers. While you were living in the past, I was creating the future. Victoria touched a floating sculpture, watching it respond to her movement. This is why the tech companies kept calling. They weren't calling about investment banking, I smiled. They were bidding on installations. Those cartoon drawings are now centerpieces in every major tech headquarters globally. My assistant entered with urgent news. The Vatican Museum is on line 1. They're ready to discuss the digital chapel installation. Nathan's face paled. The Vatican? Art evolves, I said, bringing up previews of my next collection. It always has. From cave walls to canvas to digital spaces. While you were mocking my career choice, I was pioneering an entirely new medium. The screens filled with my upcoming works. Pieces that would redefine digital art again. Interactive installations, AI collaborative pieces, quantum-generated masterpieces. The tiny studio apartment you pitted me for? I gestured to a real estate portfolio. I own the building. Just like I own this one and my galleries in London, Tokyo and Dubai. Mom sank into a designer chair. All this time, while you were pushing me toward proper paintings, I continued, I was building something bigger than anything that could fit on a canvas. My phone lit up again. Guggenheim Foundation naming you Artist of the Decade, $100 million grant included. Now, I said, gathering my tablet, I have a museum board meeting to attend. They're naming a wing after me. The digital wing, of course. Olivia, Dad started, we were wrong. I finished. Yes, you were. About art, about success, about the future. But don't worry, you can see my work anytime. Just like everyone else, after paying admission. The holographic displays shifted, creating a path to the door. My next collection's preview played on every screen, pieces already valued at 9 figures each. Your cartoon drawings are actually worth something, Nathan admitted quietly. I smiled, thinking of all those dismissive family dinners. They always were, Nathan. You just couldn't see it through your traditional banking lens. The future of art was digital and I hadn't just joined it, I'd defined it. 1 year later, I stood in the newly christened Crawford Digital Arts Wing at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. The space was a testament to how far digital art had come, and how far my family had fallen from their pedestals of certainty. The opening gala buzzed with energy as tech titans, traditional collectors and art world royalty mingled beneath my installations. Each piece told a story of innovation, but my latest collection, Legacy Reborn, told the most personal story of all. Miss Crawford, my curator approached, tablet in hand. The bidding for family dinner, just past $200 million. I smiled at the irony. The piece, a digital recreation of that fateful night at Le Cirque, transformed into an interactive experience where viewers could feel the weight of judgment and the surge of vindication, had become my most talked about work. My phone hummed with messages. Asterisk, Chinese National Museum offering $500 million for exclusive collection. Asterisk, Digital Art Academy Foundation grant approved $1 billion. Asterisk, Time Person of the Year interview request. The artist who redefined value. I spotted my family entering the gala, looking distinctly less confident than they had at those monthly dinners. Nathan had left his hedge fund after its clients moved their money to digital art investments. Victoria's investment bank was now desperately trying to catch up to the NFT market she'd once mocked. "Your new piece is extraordinary," Mom said, approaching cautiously. She'd finally learned to pronounce NFT correctly. "The way it responds to emotions." "Quantum emotional rendering," I explained, watching the artwork shift with the crowd's collective mood. "The technology alone is valued at $3 billion. Dad studied a nearby installation, his art world connections now coming to me for introductions. The traditional galleries are struggling," he admitted. "Your uncle's firm is requesting a partnership," I finished. "Along with every other classical gallery that mocked digital art. Funny how cartoon drawings look when they're revolutionizing a centuries-old industry." My assistant appeared with urgent news. "The Digital Renaissance Fund is ready. Should we announce?" I nodded, taking my place at the center of the wing. Screens lit up around the space as I addressed the crowd. "Welcome to the future of art," I began. "Today I'm launching a $10 billion fund to transform traditional galleries into digital art spaces. For those who embrace evolution, the door is open. For those who don't." I let the sentence hang as my newest piece materialized around us. An immersive experience that turned the entire wing into a living artwork. Gasps filled the room as colors danced through the air, responding to each person's movements and emotions. "Traditional art taught us to observe," I continued. "Digital art teaches us to participate, to connect, to evolve." Nathan approached after the presentation, humbled. "I've been taking coding classes," he said quietly. "Learning about digital design." "Good," I replied. "The future needs people who can admit they were wrong and adapt." Speaking of which, I pulled up the family dinner piece, its swirling patterns reflecting our transformed relationships. "This piece is about more than that night," I explained. "It's about the death of old assumptions and the birth of new possibilities. Every dismissive word, every mocking laugh, they're all part of the art now." Victoria touched the installation, watching it respond. "We were so blind." "You saw what you wanted to see," I corrected. "A little sister playing with technology. But art isn't about the medium, it's about vision. And I saw a future none of you could imagine." My phone lit up one last time. "Crawford Digital Art's value exceeds traditional art market," Bloomberg breaking news. The gala continued around us, but the power dynamics had shifted permanently. The failed artist had redefined success, and the family that once dismissed her now stood in her gallery, surrounded by the future they'd failed to see. "By the way," I said, preparing to address another group of admirers, "I'm hosting the next family dinner. In my digital dining room, of course. The menu is virtual reality and the dress code is innovative." The art world had changed forever, and I hadn't just changed with it. I had become the change itself. Looking up at my work, at the crowds of people experiencing art in ways no one had imagined possible, I smiled. Success